Hi there. Hi, beautiful souls. Grada Robertson here. I am the founder and CEO of the Purple House Wellness Center, and I'm also the author of the book that I wrote, a memoir called You Are the Miracle, How Being Hit by a Truck Saved My Life. And currently my second book is at the editors, which is going to be all about how I overcame mental illness and other physical struggles. And tonight, I want to really help you to have a little breakthrough in an area of your life that you potentially could be struggling with. And I would like to do some shadow work with you. When I was introduced to shadow work, probably about 6 years ago, it really helped my journey, my healing journey and my self-development went through the roof. So shadows are parts of us that we disconnected from, that we disowned, like splits of ourselves that happened usually at a very, very young age. And all those splits or personalities that are living in us behind the scenes contain a lot of our energy, and it takes a lot of energy for us to keep those splits away and to keep them pushed down in the subconscious mind. Right? And not only that, a lot of our splits have really big, beautiful gifts for us that if we could just open up those gifts and open those little boxes that contain the little parts of ourselves, those gifts can really, really help us today. So I work with new generation women mostly, but also men who are really looking to up-level themselves and they want to break through in an area of their life. So sometimes they want to improve their relationships. People want to find true love if they haven't had much luck there. People want to up-level their success, and they sometimes want to double or triple or tenfold their income. And I help people with all that on the principles that success is an inner game, right? Your money level, your income is simply a reflection of something that's going well on the inside. Sometimes something is broken inside people and it needs fixing. And shadow work is one thing that I love to do, that takes courage. And together we look in the darkness, what we classify as darkness, but it's really not so bad, right? It's looking at the parts of us that we disowned at a very, very young age, and now we're not even conscious of it, that we get triggered by those parts, so we push them under all the time. So a shadow can be something like, I never want to be seen as greedy, I never want to be known as lazy, I don't want to be known as dumb or stupid, I don't want to be known as ugly or beautiful. For women often have different shadows to men. So like a lot of women don't want to be seen as arrogant, whereas with men sometimes that's not such a big issue. But when you're a guy and you're working really, really hard, you never want to be called lazy or unreliable. What are some of the things that really upset guys? Not incapable, what's the word? Something like that. Anyway, if your partner said you were so lazy, or you're so unreliable, or I can't trust you, so you're not trustworthy, or you're not as smart, most guys would be super triggered by that, because you have a shadow there that you're hiding, you're working so hard. It's like running away from that shadow. So I'm just going to show you the mechanisms of how this works. I had a class or a Zoom coaching session with a group of women this morning, and we talked about shadows and we worked through it, and it was very, very impactful and powerful. And all of these women will be able to create success and have the results in their lives now much easier with much more insight. So here is mom. We'll do a little role play. Okay, so here's your mom or your dad. Let's just choose mom, okay? And here is you as a little 3-year-old. And so this mom says to, let's say, little Johnny, this is Johnny, that's you. Johnny, you haven't tidied up your bedroom again, and you were a naughty boy, and you were so lazy, you won't be any good when you grow up because you're just too lazy, blah, blah, blah. And you have to go to bed without food tonight or something like that. So Johnny, who's only 3, feels that his survival is at stake now. And he thinks, Mommy doesn't love me. The tone of voice is threatening and so on. So literally what happens now, I'll use another little doll. So this is Johnny. So literally what happens, Johnny creates a split in his emotion. It's like in his consciousness. So our consciousness can do that because our consciousness is like a river. It can split into many little streams, and each stream can split off again. But in our body, of course, we don't. So just metaphorically speaking, Johnny thinks, uh-oh, I can't be, Mommy won't love me if I'm lazy. So Johnny, what does he do? He splits off the lazy part. So he pushes that part away and he turns his back so that looks like this. So Johnny pushes the lazy part away, and now this part is in the shadow. It's hanging in the periphery of his consciousness. And so what happens over time, Johnny doesn't remember he's done that, and the lazy part now can also split into many parts. And so this is what happens. We end up with like sometimes hundreds of like these splits, but we definitely have some, all of us have some big dominant splits in our body, and each of those splits or shadows contains some of your energy, and it contains some of your essence that's now separated from your heart, and it's draining. It blocks your money flow, and quite often it gets in the way between you and your main partner, your bestie, because all these shadows do get in the way, and they sometimes jump out of you when you least want it. So then your behavior is incongruent, and you walk away from that situation, and you think, what just happened? That wasn't me. I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to behave like that. And so then you start beating yourself up, and that's how you can create more splits. So shadow work is like having the courage to look into the darkness, finding this Johnny again, the lazy Johnny, or maybe the greedy Johnny. Maybe Johnny had a split that was greedy as well, because his mom said he was so greedy, he ate all the lollies. And we have to bring those parts back together and integrate them back into Johnny's heart. So it's like one cohesive energy, and that creates freedom, it creates choices, it creates confidence, and it really just up levels you in yourself. It's good for your self-love. And so I just actually also want to remind you that at the essence of you, at the core of you, you are unconditional love. That's it. You're like a bright light, right? The whole universe is operated on unconditional love, and you are part of the universe. So like you could say you're a divine spark. But these splits, they contain our emotional pain. And so we have emotions, but it's not really who we are. So we don't need to be scared of our shadows. We just need to shine the light on something that's not working. So let me make this real for you. For instance, if you have a shadow that's lazy, you never want to be labeled as lazy. And when somebody says, oh, Johnny's so lazy, and you are John and you feel really, really hurt by that, that means that in your real life you're going to overcompensate for that, and it means that you're going to work longer and longer hours. You become a workaholic. You start to work 5 days a week, 12 hours a day, then you work 6 days a week. You're not going to charge properly for your work, so you're not going to be rewarded, and sometimes you might end up working 7 days a week. And so that is overcompensating behavior. You're becoming maybe you could say an overachiever, but that's not even a good word. You simply, you've become a workaholic to dull the pain of the shadow, of the lazy shadow. So what's good about lazy? Shadow work starts off as a very negative feeling, and it leads you into a very, very positive outcome. So a very simple way to overcome this shadow is by asking yourself, what's good about being lazy, right? Well, some of you might put it in the chat box, but I'll help you here already. Of course, what's good about being lazy is that you can relax and your body gets to have a rest. You can relax and enjoy good times with your family. You can go for a walk or hang out with the boys or the girls and not feel guilty, right? So that's beautifully freeing. So when the shadow comes back and Johnny accepts the lazy part of himself, he's suddenly able to put his prices up, which will improve his business. He can rest properly, have a good sleep at night. He can relate to his partner better and be available for his children. This is just a classic case. And every part of his life up levels when Johnny starts to love the lazy part of him that was split off. So if you do this work by yourself, often I do this in groups and it's really powerful, or like in pairs, but we don't always have the luxury to work in pairs, right? So if you do this by yourself, you can just simply find something that you find that's painful to you. Let's say, I am lazy. You look in the mirror, you look at yourself, you look in your eyes, and you just put your hand on your heart and you say, I love myself unconditionally. I love myself for being lazy. I love myself for being lazy. I love myself for being dead. I love myself. And then you can even make it more personal. So you can think, you can ask yourself, how old was I when I first had that experience of being labeled lazy? And so your body will tell you, like an age group will pop into your head. It might be your body might say, I was 2. Or suddenly you remember a scene will pop into your head. And so then you need to make yourself available now to that little child. So a shadow is always also an inner child, right? You've probably heard of doing inner child work. And so you can embrace that little child and say, come here, Johnny, I love you so much. I'm sorry I have forgotten about you. And I'm here now to keep you safe. And together we can make this work. Something like that. But your inner child might tell you might ask you something completely different. So the key is to look at yourself, at your innermost self, with compassion, right? Always have compassion, looking at yourself with compassion. So we can do an exercise right now that will help you, and we can do this together and I can talk you through it. So if you like, grab a piece of paper and a pen and just write down maybe 3 qualities that really trigger you, that kind of piss you off when you see them in other people. So that can be somebody around you who you feel like that person is selfish, or he isn't, taking accountability, or that person is such a victim, right? Because you know what, I used to have a huge shadow around being a victim. I actually didn't want to be a victim ever, because what happened was when I was born, my mom was already a victim. She was a beautiful person, don't get me wrong, but she literally had huge problems in her body. She had a hunchback, so her spine did a massive U-turn. It disappeared under her left shoulder blade, and her body was really compacted. And as the years went on, she had a lot of pain, and I witnessed her being stuck in that victim role. And my father, who was really loving, he adored my mom, but inadvertently he amplified her victimhood, right? And I didn't like that. I could sense her disempowerment, and I never wanted that for myself, and I definitely didn't want my children to grow up with me as a victim ever, right? And so you know what happened next, don't you? I had such a big shadow there that I never wanted to look at, and I never wanted to be a victim. So I became very capable and very independent, like also always working hard. I had 6 babies. I had them all natural. I didn't ask for pain relief. We lived on a farmstead. Pete and I were farmsteading, lived a very idealistic lifestyle. And so I did the opposite. I just became a sort of a hero person. I took everything in my stride. I always thought, yep, I can do that. I'm just going to do it. I'll make it. And so then what happens next is in 2006, a truck crashed into my body and I was left paralyzed. And it broke me so badly to be a victim, right? For many, many years, I was filled with so much self-loathing around it that it nearly broke my mind. Of course, till I realized that what's going on is I have so much resistance against being a victim. But what's good about victimhood, there is something good in it. So I had to learn that. And what's good about being a victim is that sometimes other people can do things for you. You have to let life happen. There are many other good things, right? I got to lie in bed and relax. My brain, I had lots of time to think about life and the mysteries of life and humanity, and that's absolutely my passion. I mean, I had 12 weeks of lying flat on my bed, being the victim, so I had all that luxury. I didn't have to cook or clean, do dishes, didn't have to pay the bills, I didn't have to see any. I was a complete victim, right? So that's what it took for me. Like, my soul knew that it would take for me a truck accident for me to integrate my victim shadow, because our soul is always giving us a shortcut to success. It's not going to lead us like down a long, most painful, arduous road. No, it's going to give us a shortcut. It gives us the shortest way to where we want to be. And so my soul obviously knew that I wanted to evolve and grow. I've always been on that path my whole life. And so it gave me truck accident. That's the shortest, quickest route for me to integrate many shadows. I had tons of shadows. So victim was a big one for me. And sometimes I still struggle with it a little bit, but it's just like little snippets now that I embrace, and I love that part of me. I look at it with compassion. So if you've written down a word, just choose one. And so some words, if you find this difficult to do, I can say some words for you. So what about, many women have the shadow needy. They don't want to be needy or dependent. And it makes it hard for their partners to love them, right? Because like they're always rejecting love and attention. Or it can be like cruel or defensive or cowardly, unreliable, heartless. Just think of one that you absolutely never want to be known as, okay? And so now I want you to just choose that word. Close your eyes. And feel into your heart space. You can put your hand there. And really then I want you to remember your true nature is love, nothing else. And your heart is so, so big that it has plenty of room for all your shadows to come home. So just bring home that shadow that you've chosen and look at it with compassion and curiosity. It's like, I haven't seen you for like decades. I didn't even know you were there. And just breathe into your body. And just see yourself as a miniature version of yourself, like maybe a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 7-year-old. And just shower that child with love. The child that was labeled lazy, fat, ugly, or a bully, or greedy, or bossy, you name it. Shower the child with love and compassion. And then just check in your mind, what is the gift of all that? What's the gift of being a bully? It would be protection. She's protected you all these years. What's the gift of being greedy? Right? The gift of being greedy is that you receive what is your due, like what's yours. It's yours, you can take it. You don't let it slip through your fingers. And maybe you can do that in the shortest way possible. So you just take what's yours. So just love that greedy child. And you can even say, I love myself for being greedy. Or whatever your word is. I am that. And then you notice in your body, it starts to feel light. Like suddenly the light globe is turned on in your body. You feel lighter. You feel the sense of acceptance. You feel like, I can claim ownership of that now, and that's very empowering. And you feel your confidence levels, they go up a few notches. And just take a breath in. Thank yourself for having so much courage. Feel grateful for yourself. You know, that you're having the courage to look at some of these dark corners of your subconscious mind. And so like when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And so just remember that the conscious mind, which is the monkey mind, is like 5% of our is 5% of us. And the subconscious mind, which is the goal getter, that's the part of you that needs to go after the results, or after the miracle, or after what you want. And your subconscious mind already knows how to do that, because it has a real close connection to God or to the universe. And the shadows, though, they are in the subconscious mind, right? Your conscious mind literally can't integrate them. You have to do that in your body, which is the realm of your subconscious mind. And so this is embodiment work. So you can do that by feeling where your shadows are in your body. And the best way to integrate all your shadows is doing it together in a group of like heart-centered, like-minded people. And that's why I like to do my programs, or where I work with women, and I do work with men as well on a one-to-one basis. And I'm thinking of offering a weekend workshop, like a boot camp, probably in July or August or something, which will be a mixed group with men and women, where we do all kinds of work that propels your success and opens the floodgates of abundance and amplifies your happiness and helps you to find true love, or increase the love and the flow in your primary relationships as well. So I hope you found this helpful. This is a big subject. I mean, people sometimes run shadow workshops that last for weeks, right? It's very, very important work. If this is the first time you've heard of it, you can Google shadow work, and there are many books who've been written about it. And you know what? Even in my work as a healer, I have seen how some of your splits will cause diseases, right? And other parts of you will cause health, will contribute to your health. So it's really, really good and empowering to get to know what makes you tick, what is the foundational energy in the background that runs your life. And that you begin to connect with it, and that you begin to build a rewarding relationship with all the parts in you, because they're all very, very valuable. So if this is something that interests you, please click on the link that I'll put in the post. Check out my program, check out all the things that I offer, and yeah, come and work with me. And also, thank you for tuning in tonight, and I really hope to see you again next week. when we'll talk about something else. Maybe we'll do an energy hack or something like that. That's always heaps of fun. So I hope you have a really, really great week. Stay warm, everyone, and stay safe. If you have any questions, send us an email or put it in the comment box or send me a personal message, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Bye bye.